right, so good afternoon. I'm Millisa Bradford, and this is my husband, Jeremy. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my son, Alex, 19 years old. Life ended way too quick, and then I'm going to give you some charge to action. On March 30th, March 30th of 2022, our son, Alex's life was stolen from him by fentanyl. He grew up in Harnett County as an Army kid with two sisters, Caitlin and Mackenzie. Alex was an amazing, dedicated baseball player. He loved nowhere else but being on the field, hence 2-out rally. He loved his family, and he planned on making sure that the 5 of us would come together every year for vacations, and he talked about being the best uncle ever to his sister's kids. He had big dreams. Alex loved the beach, but hated the sand and heat. The beach is part of what drew him to UNC Wilmington for college, where he would major in business and marketing with hopes of eventually becoming a real estate agent. He was so excited to graduate from Western Harnett High School and go off to college. His freshman year started off with a major COVID outbreak on campus and nearly half of the students heading home and everyone else getting moved into dorms by themselves. 18 years old in a dorm by himself on campus, pretty much on lockdown. He hated all the COVID restraints, but was excited to go in an upperclassman suite that had a kitchen. Boy, that kid loved to eat. Alex found his way to Rush Week and quickly became a member of UNCW's Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity. As you can imagine, Alex loved to have a good time and loved being part of all the parties and just being with his friends. Freshman year was hard, between classes being online and experimenting with all kinds of things and balancing school and fun. But he made it, and he returned his sophomore year with more focus and drive, dedicated to being sober. He worked really hard that fall and did so good in class and was planning to take summer classes and start the process to get his real estate license. He had worked all Christmas break from college to earn the money to go see Rod Wave in concert on March 31st, 2022 with his best friends, the day after he died. Him and I had found a hotel, talked about drinking and driving and making sure he had money for an Uber. He was so excited to go see his favorite artist, the one I would give anything to hear playing through the house now. Alex, like many other college kids, he loved having a good time. Him and his buddies decided to buy cocaine and Erks, or for most of us, that means Percocets. They wanted to have a good time at and after the concert. On the 29th, him and his buddy went and picked up the drugs from another college student. Yep, a fellow Seahawk. His buddies all decided not to do any that night, but Alex, we assume, decided to do a little around 1 a.m. Alex was found at 4:30 in the afternoon the next day by his friends who broke down his room to his door after he didn't show up to work. Alex's toxicology report that took nearly 6 months to get showed that he had cocaine and enough fentanyl to kill him and all of his friends that were going to the concert that night. I can't even imagine how different life would be if they had all died that night too. That group of parents who have had to figure out how to help their boys through the loss of their best friend and who have wrapped their arms around our family could be experiencing the same pain and anger all of us feel every single day. The magnitude of that possible loss is overwhelming and not lost on us every day. Alex had no idea he was buying fentanyl. He didn't want fentanyl. He wanted cocaine and Percocet. He wanted to have a good time with his friends and enjoy a concert he had worked so hard to buy tickets for. Fentanyl stole Alex's opportunity to go see Rod Wave with his best friends. Fentanyl stole Alex's future. His plans with his sisters, his plans with his friends, his college graduation, a wedding, children, and so much more. All of this taken from him by something he didn't want and he didn't know he was getting. Fentanyl not only stole our son, but it stole our daughter's brother from them. Fentanyl took a grandson, a nephew, a cousin, a friend, a boyfriend, a frat brother, and a classmate from this world that day. On March 30th, our entire life changed, and the people we were died that day. We are not the spouses, parents, or friends we were before. Fentanyl took all of that from the ones we love the most. Our lives will never be the same because Alex didn't know what he was getting and is now gone from this world. One thing fentanyl will not take, though, is my desire to end this epidemic. Amen. We will be Alex's voice in this deadly fight so that others will not feel the pain and horror we have felt the last 16 months. We cannot bring Alex back. Justice won't bring Alex back. But maybe our story and our fight will ensure that you get to hug your kid every day. Maybe it'll be the reason your kid chooses not to do drugs with their friends, or the reason they know how to use Narcan and save a life. We will fight this fight to save a life, but we can't do it alone. We need every North Carolinian to join in this fight. We need our politicians to sign Senate Bill 189. The longer they wait to sign this law, the longer it takes to enact the fentanyl task force that will bring federal, state, and local funding and law enforcement together to combat this crisis. We need legislation that demands a standard process for our law enforcement to respond to drug overdoses, that bring local police or sheriffs and narcotic detectives together on the scene so that things aren't missed in the initial response. Often our police officers don't have all the training or familiarity with drug cases and miss the critical pieces of evidence that could have been what was needed for a charge for death by distribution. This is exactly what happened to my son in Wilmington. We need the state and federal funding for Narcan to put it in every classroom, on every college campus. We need to make getting Narcan not dependent on health insurance or financial means. Narcan needs to be available for every person who wants it or needs it, regardless of economic status. State and federal funding for Narcan will help save lives in our most vulnerable areas of society. We need every parent, teacher, counselor, everyone to talk about fentanyl. One pill can kill isn't a slogan, it's a fact. We have to talk about it. We have to make our young people aware of the dangers out there and the risks they're taking. We will say fentanyl. We will talk about it. We will fight every day to help someone else's child from losing their life to this deadly epidemic that is killing North Carolinians every day. We love you and miss you, Alex. Mom and Daddy will fight for you because you are the truest in the game, kid.
Thank you.